There's a smarter way to lift, cut, haul, and build almost anything, and most people have never seen the 35 ahead. Some fit in your palm, others move half a ton. And a few you'll want the second you see them. Grab anything you like from the links below. Now let's dive in. It only gets better from here. Ever tried wiring trailer lights in a dark driveway with frozen fingers and connectors that never match? Superi's magnetic set deletes that ritual. They clamp on with strong magnets, sync to your truck through a wireless transmitter, and light up for brake, turn, and reverse with nothing to splice. Rechargeable and weatherproof, they ride out rain and highway wind, then pop off in seconds when the haul is over. Safe for towing, ready in the time it takes to close the tailgate. A flat on a back road is the fastest way to ruin a morning, unless this fits in your glove box. Astro AI's cordless inflator is barely bigger than a water bottle, yet you dial in a target pressure, press once, and it fills the tire and shuts itself off. It handles car, motorcycle, and bike valves, runs off its own battery, and lights the scene with a built-in lamp. A roadside emergency handled in the time it takes to check your mirrors. Swirl marks and dull, oxidized paint make a good car look 10 years older than it is. This cordless polisher erases them in a single pass. The orbital head wobbles as it spins instead of turning on one fixed axis, so burning through the clear coat is far harder than with a rotary buffer. Variable speed climbs from 1800 to 5500 RPM, cutting heavy oxidation first, then dropping low to finish and wax. Dull paint turns to a mirror while you watch. Cranking a loaded trailer onto a hitch by hand is a workout nobody asked for. Waze's powered tongue jack turns that grind into a button press. An electric motor raises and lowers the coupler under heavy tongue weight, so lining up with the ball becomes a steady, controlled move instead of a sweaty guess. A built-in light helps night hookups, and a manual override covers you if power drops. Hooking up becomes the easiest part of any trip. Measuring a long span solo usually means a tape that sags, snaps back, or wanders off the mark. This tool carries two ways to measure in one body. A traditional tape handles short work, while a built-in laser shoots distance across a room and shows it on a digital screen. One person, no guesswork. Readouts switch between feet, inches, and metric instantly, and it stores measurements as you go. Two trusted ways to measure are always right there in one hand. Most floor jacks are cast iron beasts that wreck your back before they lift the car. Arkin flips that trade-off with aircraft-grade aluminum. The whole jack is light enough to lift one-handed to the track or a friend's driveway, yet it hoists 3 tons and slides under low sports cars others can't reach. A dual pump design raises the saddle to the lift point fast, then fine-tunes the last inch. Full 3-ton lifting power in a jack you can carry to any driveway. One pen-sized tool and a whole drawer of gadgets suddenly feels redundant. The Dremel 4300 spins up to 35,000 RPM and swaps between dozens of snap-in bits to cut, grind, sand, polish, sharpen, engrave, and drill. Etch a name into steel, slice a bolt in tight quarters, or shape wood. The same handle does it all. A keyless chuck changes accessories without wrenches, and a built-in light shows the fine detail. One handle does the work of a dozen separate tools. Getting a mower, quad, or heavy cart into a truck bed usually ends in strained backs and near misses. Titan's arched aluminum ramps rewrite that climb. The curved shape flattens the steep breakover angle where machines high center, so wheels roll up smoothly instead of scraping. Lightweight aluminum keeps them easy to lift and carry, yet they haul serious weight per pair. They fold, store flat, and hook securely to the tailgate. Loading day stops being the part you dread. A draft you can feel but never find, or a breaker running hot behind a wall, now what? The FLIR 1 Pro clips onto your phone and makes both visible. It reads infrared and paints heat as color on your screen. Cold air pouring past a window frame turns deep blue, while an overloaded circuit glows white. Electricians trace faults without opening a wall, and every scan saves as a photo or video. Suddenly, the hidden problem is sitting right there on your screen, in color, plain as day. Snap a chalk line the old way, and you'll spend the afternoon second-guessing whether anything is straight. Huepar's laser paints a bright green line around an entire room and up the walls at once. It self-levels the second you set it down, so crooked shelves, sagging tile rows, and uneven cabinets stop being a gamble. The green beam reads far brighter than red, staying visible across big spaces and in daylight. Rechargeable and tripod ready, it lands every line dead straight the moment it powers on. Backing a trailer or a big truck blind is where fenders meet mailboxes. This backup camera fixes the view without touching your wiring. It sticks on with strong magnets, powers itself from a built-in solar panel, and beams a clear rear view to the monitor with no cables running through the body. That means you can move it between vehicles in seconds, truck today, trailer tomorrow. It handles weather and low light, giving a wide, steady picture right where the old blind spot used to be. Loosening a row of bolts by hand is the slow, knuckle-scraping part of every repair. AOBEN's cordless ratchet spins that away. It runs fasteners off and on at power tool speed, then lets you switch to hand tightening for the final torque. With a slim head that fits tight engine bays, a bulky impact gun could never reach. Battery-powered, it runs through a brake job or an appliance teardown without a cord or an air hose. All the reach of a hand ratchet with the grind taken out. Everything so far has been the easy part. What's coming next looks less like gear and more like something from the future. A dead battery in an empty parking lot used to mean waiting on a stranger with cables. The NOCO Boost GB40 ends that helplessness. This palm-sized lithium pack jump starts a dead gas engine in seconds with no second car and no flares. Spark-proof clamps and reverse polarity protection let even a first-timer hook it up safely in the dark. Between rescues, it doubles as a phone charger and a flashlight, holding its charge for months in your glove box. Small enough to tuck away and ignore until the day it saves you. Here's a single tool that quietly replaces a saw, a sander, a scraper, and a grinder. DeWalt's oscillating multi-tool buzzes its head thousands of times a minute, and a quick swap of attachments lets it flush cut wood and metal, plunge through drywall, sand tight corners, or grind out old tile grout. The kit packs dozens of quick change blades, so one grip handles jobs that once needed a whole bench of gear. Cordless and compact, it reaches spots bigger tools can't. A whole bench of tools handled from a single grip. Try drilling into cured concrete with a regular drill and you'll burn out the motor before you reach an inch. This SDS-Plus rotary hammer hits differently, literally. It pairs rotation with a rapid hammering punch, smashing through concrete, brick, and stone while the bit spins, so anchors and holes go in fast and clean. Switch modes, and it becomes a light chisel for breaking tile or old mortar. The recoil-reducing design saves your wrists over a long day. When ordinary drills quit, this is where real work begins. Moving a loaded fridge alone sounds like a broken toe waiting to happen. This lifter and roller set makes it almost effortless. A long lever arm raises one corner of the appliance with easy leverage, then low-profile wheeled sliders slip underneath. Now the whole weight glides across the floor with a gentle push, no dragging, no gouged flooring, and no helper required. It handles bulky furniture, safes, and washers just as well. Mixing concrete in a wheelbarrow with a hoe is the kind of work that ages you a decade per bag. Built Hard's portable mixer takes over the grind. A motor spins the drum steadily, folding water and mixing it into smooth, even concrete while you do nothing but load it. When the batch is ready, a foot pedal tilt pours it straight into your forms or a barrow. It rolls on wheels to the pour and handles fence footings, slabs, and repairs with ease. Consistent concrete without the aching arms. Hauling a washer up a flight of stairs is where moving days go wrong and backs give out. This power dolly climbs stairs for you. Motorized tracks grip each step and walk heavy loads upward, one at a time, while the operator simply steadies and guides. The machine supplies the muscle. It handles appliances, safes, and stacked boxes that would take two strong people to wrestle. Straps lock the load in place, and controlled speed keeps everything steady on the descent. The scariest part of moving day becomes a slow, steady, confident climb. Loose gravel and soft soil are the silent reasons patios crack and pavers sink a year later. A plate compactor settles that from the start. This gas machine drives a heavy steel plate that jumps against the ground thousands of times a minute, hammering stone, sand, and asphalt into a dense, locked base. Walk it slowly across a driveway or paver bed, and it firms the surface far beyond any hand tamper. The vibration does the work, so you're mostly steering. Build on a base this solid, and your finished work holds firm for years. Digging a single fence post by hand takes 20 minutes and leaves you wrecked before the second one. This auger does it in under a minute. A 1500-watt motor spins a 6-inch steel bit that screws itself into the ground, chewing through packed dirt, clay, and roots that stop a manual digger cold. Twin handles and a balance plate keep it steady in your grip, and running on electricity means no fumes and no pull start, just a cord or a generator. Fence lines, decks, and tree planting stop being a whole weekend's work. Clamp this onto a vertical steel beam, flip a switch, and it bores a clean hole straight through, sideways, or even upside down. A powerful electromagnet in the base locks the whole unit onto raw steel, holding it dead still while an annular cutter drives precise holes through thick plate. Ironworkers use it high on girders where no bench vise could ever reach. The magnet grips with thousands of pounds of force, so it stays put under heavy cutting pressure. It brings drill press accuracy to steel that can't come to the shop. Few things on a job site look as alive as this saw biting into steel. A 14-inch abrasive wheel spins down onto pipe, angle iron, rebar, and box tubing, throwing a bright arc of sparks as it slices clean through in seconds. A locking vise clamps the stock at the angle you set, so every cut lands square and repeatable. The heavy base keeps it steady through thick material that would stall a lesser tool. For anyone building gates, frames, or trailers, it turns raw steel into finished parts fast and makes footage you can't look away from. Pop a dent out of a car door without drilling a single hole or touching the backside. That's the trick here. This stud welder spot welds a thin pin onto the bare metal. Then you hook a slide hammer to the pin and tap the dent back to shape from the outside. Once it's flat, the pin snips off and grinds smooth. Body shops rely on this for creases in panels they can't reach from behind, such as quarter panels. Watching a crease rise back to level under a few pulls saves a fortune in bodywork. Fresh concrete looks easy to flatten until you've fought a wet slab with a board and lost. A power screed turns that fight into an easy glide. A gas engine vibrates a long, straight blade that you drag across the wet pour, and the vibration liquefies the surface just enough to level and smooth it in one pass. High spots knock down, low spots fill, and the finish comes out flat and tight without backbreaking floating. One person can screed a driveway that used to need a whole crew. It's the difference between a slab that looks poured by pros and one that doesn't. Grip a heavy glass door, a slab of tile, or a sheet of drywall with one hand. This makes it real. The GRABO runs a small electric pump that pulls a powerful vacuum seal against smooth or even slightly textured surfaces, latching on with enough hold to carry a heavy load. Instead of pinching a bulky slab with sweaty fingers, you press a button and carry it by a solid handle. Tile setters, glaziers, and flooring pros use it to place big, awkward pieces precisely and safely. Battery powered and light, it lets one person handle what used to take two. We're into the final 10 now, the kind you won't believe exist until you see them in action. Real power without the roar, the fumes, or the gas can. That's the quiet trade this box makes. This power station stores energy in a big lithium battery and pushes it out through standard outlets, USB ports, and car sockets, running tools, lights, laptops, and a fridge right off the grid. Recharge it from the wall, a car, or solar panels, and it's ready for the next job site, campsite, or blackout. No engine means you can run it indoors and overnight without waking anyone. Clean, dependable electricity exactly when the power goes out. Cutting thick steel rebar with a hacksaw is a punishment. With a grinder, it's a shower of sparks and lost time. This tool slices it like butter. An electric-driven hydraulic head clamps onto the bar and drives a hardened blade straight through heavy rebar in about 2 seconds, leaving a clean, square cut with no sparks and no debris. One hand holds it, one squeeze finishes the cut, and it repeats all day without wearing you down. Crews burn through stacks of rebar with it on foundation and roadwork jobs. Quiet, fast, almost effortless, it makes brute steel feel soft. Shrink the loudest tool in the metal shop down to the size of your palm, and this is what you get. This cordless mini grinder spins a 3-inch disc at nearly 19,000 RPM, throwing a bright fan of sparks as it slices clean through steel, rebar, and bolts, one-handed. Swap the disc, and it grinds down welds, knocks off rust, and smooths a rough edge in seconds. Cord-free and compact, it slips into tight spots a full-size grinder could never reach. All the bite of an angle grinder, shrunk to fit in one hand. Set a plank of wood under this, hit start, and watch a beam of light burn a photograph into the grain with pinpoint control. Creality's desktop laser engraver focuses an intense point of light to etch detailed art, text, and logos into wood, leather, acrylic, and coated metal. And at full power, it cuts clean through thinner material. You design on a screen, and the laser traces every line with the precision no hand could match, filling the shop with the smell of fresh cut wood. Makers use it for custom signs, gifts, and small batch products that look factory made. It's a slice of factory technology shrunk onto a desk, bringing your ideas to life while you watch. Type an object into a computer and pull it out of this machine hours later, solid and real. That's no longer science fiction, it's a desktop gadget. The Anycubic Kobra builds physical parts layer by microscopic layer, extruding melted filament until a flat design rises into a 3-dimensional object you can hold. Broken bracket, custom tool, replacement knob, toy, or prototype. You print exactly what you need instead of hunting for it in a store. Auto leveling and fast speeds mean less fiddling and more creating. Watching a solid shape grow out of nothing is mesmerizing, and it drops a small factory onto your desk, one that makes almost anything you can design. In under a second, this machine wraps, twists, and cinches a flawless rebar knot, then repeats it thousands of times without a single complaint. Tying rebar by hand with pliers is one of construction's most brutal, repetitive jobs, wrecking wrists and backs across an entire slab. This cordless machine erases that pain. It feeds its own wire, loops the intersection, and torques the tie tight in one automatic motion, moving down a grid faster than any crew could by hand. The knots come out consistent and strong every time, and workers stay upright instead of hunched over for hours. Hypnotic to watch, and it reshapes how foundations get built. The tool that looks most like the future is a handheld gun that welds steel with a beam of light. Point it along a seam, pull the trigger, and a focused laser fuses metal together in a clean, glowing line, far faster than traditional welding, with a smooth finish that needs little grinding. What once demanded years of practice with a torch becomes approachable, and the same machine switches over to cut and clean metal too. Fabricators run it on stainless steel and aluminum for work that looks flawless. Holding a laser that stitches metal like fabric feels borrowed from a spaceship, proof of just how far these everyday gadgets have come. Reaching a toolbox jammed against the cab means climbing into the bed on your knees, or does it? This slide-out trolley turns the entire truck bed into a giant drawer. Loaded gear rolls out to the tailgate on heavy-duty steel, so you grab what you need standing safely on the ground. It locks in place under load, handles rugged job site weight, and installs onto existing bed rails. The whole bed rolls out to meet you, every tool right where you're standing. Changing a roadside tire in the rain, wrestling a manual jack and a breaker bar is nobody's idea of a good time. This kit turns the ordeal into button pushing. An electric jack raises the car to height in about a minute on its own power, while the included impact wrench spins the lug nuts off and back on without a drop of sweat. It runs from the car's power socket and packs into the trunk beside the spare. 15 tense minutes on the shoulder becomes a fraction of that, hands clean, shoulders loose. buried to the axles in mud, miles from help, is the moment this becomes the best money you ever spent. A 13,000-pound electric winch drags trucks, trailers, and heavy equipment out of situations that would otherwise mean an expensive tow. A strong motor spools synthetic line under enormous pull, and a wireless remote lets you stand clear and control the recovery from a safe distance. Mounted to a truck or a portable plate, it becomes the anchor for off-road rescues, equipment loading, and stubborn stump removal. When every other option is gone, this is the one machine that gets you out. That's the countdown. 35 machines proving the future is already on your doorstep. If one blew your mind, hit like, share it with someone who'd love it, and subscribe. Next one's even wilder.